Thank you very much, Doug.
President Obama dropping some hints as to what he'll cover in his State of the Union address, indicating, as Doug mentioned, that he may strike a rather centrist tone. But will that satisfy anybody or everyone? Joining us now, Michigan Republican Congressman Thaddeus McCotter. He sits on the House Financial Services Committee, and Washington Democratic Congressman Jim McDermott is a senior member of the House Ways and Means Committee. Gentlemen, good to see you both. Congressman McDermott, what do you want to hear from the president Tuesday night?
I want to hear him talk about investment in the future. This is his night to talk to the American people and convince them that continuing to invest in the future is in our best interest. What he's being opposed by is the Republicans who say all they want to do is cut. You just heard Senator McConnell say that we're not going to do anything about spending more money. Now, you have to remember, never forget, in fact, he said his #1 priority is making sure that President Obama doesn't get a second term. So the president's got to convince the American people to put the pressure on the Republicans to continue investing. If we stop investing and just cut, we are going to be in serious trouble.
Congressman McCarter, what do you want to hear from the president?
Well, I don't know what quite to make of the increased call for more spending. I think the public rejected that at the last election, if I'm not mistaken. I think that one of the things we have to remember, too, with the president is that this will be the 4th time he's rebooted himself from a leftist to a centrist to a leftist to a centrist, and he may kind of get dizzy trying to keep up with it. So what I really want to see, less than words out of the president, are the actual deeds and proposals he's going to put forward to find out whether or not this new centrism that we're seeing again out of him is going to be one of convenience or one of conviction.
Congressman McDermott, I want you to take a look, if you can, at a couple of Fox News Opinion Dynamics polls that just came out a couple of days ago. A large majority of Americans are dissatisfied with the way things are going in the country today, 61%. Only 37% are satisfied. And those numbers haven't changed much in the course of the last year. The second poll finds that a majority of voters say they would vote for someone other than Barack Obama if the 2012 presidential election were held today. And in fact, they say he's failed to meet their expectations. How does the president turn that around?
He has a very good chance here. He makes a proposal, and the Republicans can turn it down at their own risk. If they spend the next 2 years doing what they did in the last 2 years of opposing everything from unemployment insurance to investment in infrastructure, all of those things that the president proposed in the last years, if they do that again, they won't have a chance in 2012 because people are anxious that this is not working and they know we have to keep investing. We can't stop working on infrastructure or education or on independence from foreign oil or all the issues that the president's working on. I think he has a good chance of painting them exactly what they are, the party of no.
Yeah, but let me stick with you for just a moment, because Congressman McCarter a moment ago said the election demonstrated to the president that all of the spending on infrastructure and education and research and so forth, which apparently he's going to say in the State of the Union, let's spend more. That's not what Americans want.
I think you can make any interpretation you want about that election you want. I believe that what he was dealing with and what we were dealing with when we were running was massive anxiety that what was going on in this country was not working. The financial industry had failed us. Foreclosures were continuing to go up. And we were not making the investments because the Republicans kept killing them every time they went to the Senate. We passed stuff out of the House, but we couldn't get it through the Senate. Mitch McConnell single-handedly stopped those investments. And I think the people threw us out because we were in. They threw us out. They'll throw the Republicans out next time if they don't do something in this 2 years.
Congressman McCarter, fair and balanced, joblessness stands at 9.4%. It's by far the top issue among voters, and this next poll doesn't bode well for your party, the Republicans, because take a look at that. Most voters think Democrats would do a better job on job creation than Republicans. Why is that?
Well, it has to ask the individuals who responded to the poll. The reality is over the past 2 years, we saw a massive expansion. Yeah, they're my constituents, but were they polled? So you can take the polls. If you want leadership, you can have leadership. The massive expansion of the industrial welfare state in the last 2 years did not lead to job creation throughout Michigan. It did not lead to created or saved. And it actually left us greater indebted into the future, which is going to make it harder for entrepreneurs and investors and workers to come together and grow this economy. We see the long-term outstanding debts that are there from entitlements. We see the long-term outstanding debts that are there from things such as the failed stimulus program. So what's going to happen is a re-examination for exactly what government wants to do. You see the president talking about a leaner, smarter government. But does that mean he's going to just try to continue the welfare state as it is with less fat on it? Or are you actually going to get one that mirrors the consumer-driven economy of globalization? So those are the types of questions that I don't know were asked in your poll.
Yeah. Well, I want to be fair with the same number of questions that I pose. So let me stick with you, Congressman McConnell. The president made it official this last week. He's setting up his re-election headquarters in Chicago. And I took a look at the latest PPP polling results. The president leads every single potential GOP contender. Again, that doesn't bode terribly well for Republicans, does it? Especially given the president's incredibly weak approval rating.
Well, I think that you're absolutely right in that sense, in the sense that this is a midterm for the president. The president has a 4-year term. People had written off Ronald Reagan. People had written off Bill Clinton. People had written off Jimmy Carter. Sometimes the public has a chance, and they change their mind as to the president's performance or circumstances help to get them reelected. So there is a long way to go. But our number one concern has to be helping to grow the economy, allow the American people to do it, and to make sure that people have the opportunity to work in this country and let the political chips fall where they may.
Representatives Thaddeus McConnell and Jim McDermott, thank you.